Hey everyone, Tin Man here with another sweet brew. Today we're playing a Fire Primal Shadow control deck based around my new favorite card, Black Iron Manacles. Runs Flamestoker, Solitude, no units. It's unitless, just like a lot of my other control decks that I like to play. By not playing any units, you completely blank opposing normal sorcery speed removal spells, not necessarily the fast spells. The fast spells can still hit the Flamestoker Inferni. I'm not sure what that plural is. Anyway, but otherwise, most of their removal is just completely blank, so you get some natural card advantage that way. We've got a whole suite of removal. We've got Torches, Annihilates, Extracts, Hailstorms, Deathstrike, Feeding Time, Cold Blood, Strange Shadows, and a couple Channel Tempest even that doubles burn, as well as removal. Now, the exact split on all of these is probably not optimal, and I'm still kind of feeling out, work in progress on the exact numbers. You see a lot of 2 ofs, 3 ofs. Probably not exactly optimal, but depending on the meta that you see and you run into, you can tweak those. Maybe around a couple more Cold Bloods, a couple more Stray into Shadows. Maybe a little bit less Torches or Annihilates, depending on what you're up against. But I've been playing this for a little bit here, and it's been a ton of fun. So let's take this into some ranked and see what we can do with it. I'm just knocking on the door here of Diamond. I've had a slow start to the month. It's the 10th day of the month, and I still haven't gotten up to Masters yet, but we'll get there. So let's redraw this hand, only 1 power. This is definitely a power-hungry kind of deck. You want to draw a lot of power. Since you do want to get up to 8 power, ideally on turn 8. Alright, looks like we're up against a time-based deck of some sort. It's hard to say exactly what, but the fact that he's playing an Initiative Sands means we probably want to try to find a Hailstorm if possible. That's not a Hailstorm. We've got enough power. We've got 4 more power in hand, so we don't need that right now. Looks like it's Praxis tokens. Ooh, we really need that Hailstorm, like, pronto. Luckily, we do have Kaleb's Choice to deal with a Xenon Obelisk or something. Ooh, there's the Hailstorm. Perfect. Let's go grab, what do we have? We've got plenty of Shadow. We need a Fire influence. Let's grab a Fire. So depending on what he does here, we'll just go, Hailstorm. Actually, we can't Hailstorm this coming turn. Ooh, that's a little rough because our Primal Source enters play depleted. So what might be better is to just play the Fire Sigil and extract the Initiative Sands. Actually, it's probably better to play the Amethyst Waystone. When you're up against aggressive decks, you don't really want to be playing Nightfall type effects. Normally control decks, I don't really like Nightfall as a general matter in control decks, but in these kind of unitless decks, especially one running Black Iron Manacles, it kind of deals double duty, where it deals 1 point, plus they take 1 extra point off Black Iron Manacles. So I think it's kind of acceptable in this deck. But against an aggressive deck, you don't really want to give them extra redraws. So I think I'm just going to play this now so I don't trigger Nightfall. And then extract the thing that's giving them extra power. Celestial Omen is a little bit too slow for the kind of matchup we're up against here. So put that on bottom. Hopefully he just plays like another big swarm of things. You can take 4 or whatever. We're still at a pretty healthy life total. Trailmaker, perfect. He grabs a Primal, probably just does a Troll. He probably doesn't have any... He probably has all of his color requirements and is just picking a random color. But if he does play, like, Islands Intervention here, I'm going to be pretty blown out. Let's just play this and then Hailstorm. Oh, that's... Ooh, perfect. That is a Hailstorm number 2. So now we need to be afraid of, say, a Heart of the Vault is the only way we really lose this. So next turn is probably just going to be Wisdom the Elders, hold open Kaleb's Choice. If he plays like a Relic or something. Yeah, no real reason to... I guess I should have drawn first, because if I did draw, say, like a Quarry, I'd probably want to play it. And he warps a Heart of the Vault. Jeez. How lucky can you get? Alright. Dealing with this guy is going to be a bit of a pain. We're going to need to find a spot removal for it. We kind of did. In the sense that now we can Strain to Shadows torch it. Kind of works. Should hopefully blunt his assault for a little bit, but now we're kind of out of, out of really good plays or, answers. So we need to develop one of our clocks here. We need to play out Flamestoker or Manacles this coming turn, but we're going to be under quite a bit of pressure too. Yeah, we need another Hailstorm here. We're just going to be taking quite a bit here. We're going to take 6 on the backswing when we kind of take a turn off to play this Flamestoker. I guess we just play Flamestoker. I think he's hesitant. So he has a Grenadin in hand, right? He's hesitant to play it out, probably to play around board wipes, because that means he's low on action. So I'm actually going to Nightfall here. I know I said it earlier, it's not very good, but when your opponent's playing defensively, and you don't actually have answers, like he's playing in fear when he really shouldn't be. So if he's going to continue to play in fear, I'd rather draw some extra cards off his fear. And, see if we can actually draw into the answer. So now we might be like, all right, well, he doesn't have anything, so I might as well just, play him all out. And so given that, I need to draw the extra cards and try to find a way out of this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Manacles is not it. Crest of Fury is also not it. Uh-oh. Looks like we're dead to pretty much anything. What are we not dead to? We're not dead to Xenon Obelisk, because we can beat that. The Kaleb's choice. We're not dead to Rally or Torch, actually. We can beat all of these with Kaleb's choice. We're not dead to Obliterate. I mean, we only have one more redraw. It's not a good chance to win by any means, but it's something. All right, Hailstorm or Strain to Shadows. Primal Sigil. Not where we wanted to be. All right, let's see if we can run this back. Yeah, the matchup against tokens can actually be relatively difficult for these kind of unitless decks, like that are a little slow to win the game. It might look good on paper, like, oh, you've got Hailstorms and Strain to Shadows, and like, how can you lose? Well, tokens actually puts out quite a bit of pressure with very few cards. So sure, you might be 2 for 1ing them with, your Hailstorm that you draw 2 or 3 for 1 even. But even getting a 3 for 1 is kind of difficult because they have so many things that you need to Hailstorm that it doesn't really make up for the fact that you're getting like 2 for 1 on your end when you draw Torches and Annihilates and In Cold Bloods. Not to mention some of your do-nothing cards, in the sense that Black Iron Manacles, Solitude, Flamestoker don't actually trade with any of your opponent's cards. They're just there to close out the game. It's actually a little bit difficult to get a massive enough card advantage from Hailstorms, especially if they draw Heart of the Vaults, to really turn that matchup into your favor. This looks like a somewhat reasonable keep. It's got 3 power, a scout, a couple removal spells. It's so lackluster. I think we can do better, actually. Like, it doesn't have any card draw. It doesn't have a win condition. This hand's quite a bit better. It doesn't have all of our colors, but it does have card draw and a Black Iron Manacles, as well as still having some removal. And so that's why I kind of like hands like this a touch better. And Solitude is kind of like a dead card in your opening hand. It's not a card you really want to see in your opener. Take another power, that's fine. We're probably going to draw 2 of Wisdom and then play the power on turn 4 or 5. Gorgon Fanatic. There we go, we got a Hailstorm that. Don't want him to draw them cards, but that's okay. These kind of Haunting Scream decks are actually quite favorable for these, unitless control decks, because a lot of their cards are still dead in the matchup. They might look like they get an advantage by, oh man, he got a big, he drew 3 cards off of Gorgon Fanatic, and then you're like, well, one of them was probably a Combust, one of them was probably a Madness, and then you're just like, what do I care? Those are a lot of dead cards. Extract's pretty good. I'll hold on to that. We're gonna draw 2 here off Wisdom. Gorian Fanatic, not really that afraid. We knew that he didn't have another land, and he didn't have a Haunting Scream, because he would have Haunting Screamed right on time. It's not even going to matter, because we're just going to Feeding Time it and eliminate any possibility of that. Play our Depleted Power. I would love a Torch. More removal, the better. And then we'll just stick a Black Iron Manacles here next turn, and then we're well on our way to winning the game. Now it's just a matter of stall, stall, stall. Hit him with the channel. Maybe find a Solitude wins the game. I don't really care about Bandit Queen. I'm not going to waste a fast removal spell to kill it when I can save it for something like a Haunting Screamed target. So let's just extract. And also extract gets a lot better. I do need that power in order to cast Channel of Tempest, so I will hold on to that. It's not only the 8th power, but it's also the 4th Primal. Cunning Drone, not really afraid. I will let that go. I'm probably not going to Hailstorm that. Stray. Now that I have another Stray, I feel fine Hailstorming this, because I do have another board wipe. And I mean, my life total is pretty darn healthy, so I'm not that concerned, but just keeping life total as high as possible is always good. This guy's just double torching me. Triple torch? This is why opponent's getting, card advantage is not all that scary. I'm going to use Deathstrike here in response to the trigger so he doesn't get the Warcry off. Since he's going to have to kill it anyway, you want to do it in response to the trigger so that no Warcry comes off. And now we can just hit him with the channel. You want to channel before you play your power to hit up for the most damage. Hit him for 6. I think Flamestoker is a little excessive. Doesn't actually speed up the clock as opposed to just another Manacles. Sure. I think now we're just Manacles Hailstorm. Hold open Torch. I want to grab Phase Aegis. Yeah, he must have another Torch, so good thing we got our Phase Aegis up. And now he'll be taking 2 per turn. I mean, I guess Flamestoker did finish it a touch faster, but I don't think it actually... I think I'd rather just have the extra card to ensure that I get the win. One extra card of finding a removal spell or something will probably buy me just an extra turn anyway that Flamestoker would have got. Sorry if you can hear that in the background. There's a storm brewing outside as I'm recording this, so hopefully power doesn't cut out and I lose all this recording, but no promises. So we'll just torch whatever he brings back here. Sure. Once again, I want to do this in response to the trigger so that he doesn't get the Warcry off. And then he had the torch. Okay, that's fine. Takes 2. We hold up in Deathstrike. We'll hit that with the Stray. Oh yeah, definitely gonna hit that with Stray. Actually, we're pretty low. I think I'm fine to take this hit so that I can... Yeah, I probably should have grabbed that. I probably should have kept that Flamestoker on top, all things considered. Actually, that card, I don't want Annihilate. Annihilate isn't actually going to hit anything in his deck. Nothing that's relevant. Right? He doesn't have like any mono-colored units other than drones. Sure. I probably should have bought him this Annihilate. This actually just kills him. because Black Iron Manacles makes Quarry not quite as effective as you want it to be. Makes you take 6 extra damage. Alright, so 1-1. Let's try to get one more game in here. I know this video might be running a touch long, but that's the nature of control decks. Let's see if we can just get up into Diamond 3 here with this deck. Spook Cell, is this the same guy we played the first game? I think it might be. In any case, this hand's not very good. It has power, but has no removal. And just all of your late game win conditions. If you knew you were up against a unitless deck or something, then yeah, that hand's pretty decent. I don't know what I'm up against, but I'm kind of fine picking up anything here. Sure. Scout power. I actually need a Primal source. I think this is the same guy, as evidenced by the fact that he's playing the same deck. Not really interested in channel. Or am I? No, I need that Primal influence. I think I'm just going to torch this thing. Don't want him to play that turn 2 assembly line again. Let's see if we can redeem ourselves here against tokens. As I kind of stated, it looks like a really good matchup on paper, but it's not always the case. There's the Primal. There's another power, but I don't actually need that one. I need a bit more action. I can live off 5 power for quite a while. I'd like to find something like a Flamestoker. Flamestoker would be good so that we can, control the early game with the Hailstorm. Solitude. Pretty lackluster without without having Black Iron Manacles on him, but there's our Flamestoker. So now we need to make this Hailstorm really count. Ooh. That was painful. It's very painful. Alright, we'll just Hailstorm this. We probably should Hailstorm last turn. I was hoping he would play another thing into it, but he just decided to rally instead, which is very smart of him. Definitely a good call. Deathstrike, not what we want. Just look for power on top. It's not an untapped power. I think I want an untapped power. I think I'm willing to bottom that at the risk of, just completely whiffing here. But also takes me one card closer to another board wipe. Yeah, we're going to need another board wipe here. Another Flamestoker, not at all what we needed. Sure, there's a power, but it might be too slow now. He's just got a handful of gas. Oh, and an obelisk. Ouch. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can't even cast this Waystone. Well, I guess I can. But no, I can't cast Flamestoker. I have to cast Deathstrike. Yeah, I was forced to Hailstorm a board that had... It was really just 2 cards on it, 2 Grenadin drones. So it looked like, oh yeah, I got an advantage, but I really only 2 for 1 to him. And then I have these cards that are really good in some matchups, but in other matchups like this are just a touch too slow and don't actually interact all that well. We're dead to a Torch here, or a Rally. I'm not dead to a Temple Scribe. And we do have 2 draws here to find a Hailstorm or something. The problem with this against very aggressive decks is that we don't have something like Black Sky Harbinger to really to stabilize and start winning the game. Our win conditions don't actually stabilize the board, which means against very aggressive decks that apply consistent pressure, they can be a little bit weak. But that's going to be it for this video. So we lost twice against tokens, which, like I said, is often a problem for unitless decks. But other than that, I feel really good about this in the current meta. I've played it quite a bit and had a ton of fun with it. You should definitely try it if you're looking for a fun deck to try to climb. Thanks for watching.